Alberto Ginastera was the foremost Argentinian composer of the 20th century. Ginastera brought Argentinian folk music to the world stage through his composing, much as Bela Bartok did for the Hungarian folk culture. Ginastera was born in Buenos Aires on April 11, 1916. His father, being Catalan, he preferred to pronounce his surname with a soft G. Early in his career, Ginastera inherited the gauchesco style with its particular harmonies and rhythmic patterns that had already been codified by 3 generations of Argentine composers. In his music, Ginastera gradually modified and expanded this legacy and created music both more personal in emotional intensity and international in its modern technical language and structural range. During the 1960s, Ginastera classified his work into 3 periods. First, he created a style he called objective nationalism from 1937 to 1947. And this grew from his love of gauchesco literature and his straightforward adoption of Argentine folk music. The second period, Ginastera labeled subjective nationalism, another 10-year stage from 1947 to 1957. The composer himself said of subjective nationalism, quote, "It was time to drop ethnic realism in favor of the creation of an imagined folklore," unquote. Ginastera's first quartet was premiered in 1949 and falls into his subjective nationalism period. Still referring to the Argentine melodic and rhythmic vocabulary, Ginastera here employs a musical language influenced by techniques and textures of Bela Bartok, whose string quartets redefined the medium for the 20th century. The very opening of Ginastera's first quartet has a beautiful classical symmetry, and it's very clever writing harmonically. You first hear this, and that has in it a D major chord, and a D minor chord, and a D diminished chord. And the arc moves up to this, which is the 7th. But it does it with all the permutations, and then the chord that he lands on has all of those notes. There's a silence, you catch your breath, wonder what's going to happen next. He starts again, and then you hear this. And that spicy dissonant chord actually is a resolution in 2 directions of what he did. First, you have in the bass, the first time D major, and it resolves to G minor. And in the higher voices, you have F minor, which go up a 5th to a kind of C dominant. Instead of this, he spices it up like that. So this is a perfectly balanced, classical, spicy Argentine beginning. Ginastera revised his second string quartet in 1968, 10 years after composing the first version in 1958. By that time, Ginastera's musical language had evolved to what he called his Neo-expressionist phase. This involved many modernist techniques that had not previously been applied to Argentine folk music. In Ginastera's second quartet, there's a beautiful fourth movement based on a triste, which is a song of melancholy, originally from Peru, but then it moved into Argentina through the gauchos who sang a vidala, which is a version of it. If I play it on the piano, you're going to be missing the quarter tones and the bending pitches that he writes into the violin part to make it sound like a human voice. This is accompanied by a harmony that grows out of Debussy, parallel major thirds, moving in contrary motion, creating this kind of bitonality. But there's also a powerful chord that separates the solos, and there are solos for every member of the quartet in this movement. The chord takes the lowest open strings of the cello and the lowest open strings of the violin, and above them builds a minor chord, and then adds a seventh. And so the composite chord is two minor chords with two seventh dissonances. Not long after he moved to Geneva and married Aurora Natola, Ginastera composed his third string quartet. The third quartet was premiered in 1974 by the Juilliard String Quartet and soprano Benita Valente in Dallas. Ginastera set 4 poems for soprano and quartet. The poems are by Juan Ramón Jiménez, Federico Garcia Lorca, and Rafael Alberti. Only the second movement, marked Fantastico, is for string quartet alone. It features extreme dynamics from hushed, barely audible music to ferociously loud passages. It is music of great intensity with suspenseful silences, changeable textures, and concentrated energy. In the first movement of this quartet, Ginastera sets the poem La Música by Juan Ramón Jiménez. Jiménez writes, "The strength of music, how it vanquishes the monstrous darkness."